Reaching 15,000 trophies is a massive flex and has never been more important, especially now that it's required to unlock ranked. So in this video, we'll go over 8 must-know tips to significantly help every player trying to push through the arenas. Starting off with tip number 1, track your opponent's cycle. Now this may seem like a big step up if you're a casual player trying to become better at the game, but it's really not that hard to do, and it's not as hard as you'd think it would be. Now, tracking cycle is, let's just say your opponent plays a log on your goblin barrel. They now need to play 4 cards after the log to get back to their goblin barrel. Now, this is something that you can, count forwards, count backwards, take a mental tally of log. Okay, then he played wizard, then he played P.E.K.K.A, then he played ice spirit. Oh, he's not back to the log, so let me play something knowing that I don't have to worry about a log type thing. So you can do this with any deck in the game. It doesn't have to be barrel, and it doesn't have to be multiple cards. You can start as slow as you want. Just practice tracking 1 card a game. If you can do better faster, then hey, that's awesome. Go ahead and do that. But for whatever deck there is, I guarantee you a card that you can benefit from by knowing if it's in cycle or not. And there's an easy way to tell if it's in cycle, and that's to track the cycle of your opponent's card. This allows you to pressure easier, play defense easier, knowing that he doesn't have X card in hand. Tip number 2 is to avoid overcommitting, and this applies to both offense and defense. Obviously, it probably applies a bit more on defense because I'd see the average person doesn't really overcommit on offense, although it can happen. Like, what I mean is we've gone in with a giant prince push, it's currently getting mutilated, and you're down to elixir, there's a counter push on the board. Do not keep playing things into that push. Let it go. Think about, is this card I'm playing going to actually change anything, or is it just going to, speed up my defeat? Just think about that. Whatever is going on offense, don't overcommit on that push. If it's going to help you break through and it's going to help you take that tower and win the game, go ahead and play it. But if it's not, then don't play it. And on defense, this happens all the time as well. If you have failed your defense and if you have made a mistake or messed up, do not continue spending elixir on that defense. Let it go. Again, think to yourself, is this going to help this? Is me playing 4 elixir right here going to save this tower, or are we going to lose anyways? Because there are a lot of times where maybe if you mess up a tower or mess up a defense and lose a tower, the advantage you have on the elixir would be wasted just continuing to dump crap into that defense. It's the defense. You've already lost your tower. So you can bring the game back by being up elixir and pressuring opposite lane, but a lot of people don't because they just overcommit to the defense. So think about, is this card going to change something when I play it? And if the answer is no, don't play it. Tip number 3 is to maintain the mental. There are so many people who just keep playing far past the point where they should have stopped playing and therefore lose a butt ton of trophies. Now, this is a less of an issue when you're playing in trophy road where there are caps, right? Because you can't go below like the start of the arena, so it obviously doesn't apply as much as Path of Legends. But still, if you're not feeling good, stop playing. If you've noticed you're playing bad, you go like 3-4 games in a row of just bad gameplay or hard counters, do not keep playing. Just don't. It doesn't matter if it's a 3-minute break, a 10-minute break, a 3-hour break. Do whatever it takes to just recover your mental and just breathe, be calm, and go back into it. Because although maybe you are getting 4 hard counters in a row, if you keep playing with that mentality after getting hard countered a bunch of times in a row, you are going to lose matchups that you could win. And that is how tilts happen. And you look back and you're like, man, this game sucks, this game's rigged, I hate this game, they're hard countering me every game. If you really deadass look at it and take accountability, you did not get hard countered every game. You may have gotten hard countered and it started your tilt, but you can recover from that mentally, and at any point you can end a tilt and go on a run. And that happens all the time with top ladder players, all the time with even normal players. Just make sure you do whatever it takes to recover your mental and don't keep playing if you're not in a good mood. Tip number 4 is, whenever possible, avoid making risky plays. And risky plays is, kind of undefined, but let's say I'll do this play and pray to God my opponent doesn't have a Mega Knight. There's no way there would be a Mother Witch in this deck. Just avoid making those kinds of plays. If you are being too, this kind of leads into the overcommitting on offense thing, but if you're being too aggressive and you're being, spending too much elixir early in the game, or you don't know what your opponent's playing and you're making big commitments to pushes and stuff when, oh, I didn't know he had a rocket. that is stuff you can avoid by playing slower and thinking about the consequences of your actions. It's kind of stupid, but just play slower, play less aggressive, and think about these types of plays and what the outcomes could be. Don't go in heavily on offense without knowing what your opponent's playing. And this may seem like a no-brainer, but I've seen so many people lose just because they've been way too aggressive, or they haven't been making the slow enough plays, or they haven't been thinking about, or they've just been praying their opponent doesn't have a Mega Knight, stuff like that. Tip number 5 is offense is overrated. This is almost like close to the last tip, but there are times when you can literally just not go in on offense. There are so many people, whether it's Royal Giant, whether it's Golem, whether it's Lava, who just avoid playing offense until the right time. Because if your opponent has a tons of counters to your deck and your win condition, and they consistently stop them every time, if you keep going with that thing, it's never going to break through. There are strategies you can use to break through, sure, but wait for the right time and try and set up a counter push, and that is going to be, I mean, that's why your opponents are winning. If they're defending your push every time and getting a counter push and they have infinite elixir, that's kind of your problem right there. But you can get away with not playing offense for the majority of the game and just focusing on defense. A lot of people's losses are from bad offense, whether it's an overcommitment or whether it's just a bad push or whether it was bad timing. So you could slow your game down a lot and avoid playing offense as much, whether, you know, maybe there's a good opportunity to if you're up 5 elixir or something like that, but that's entirely different. Tip number 6 is it can help you to assign cards roles. Now, what I mean by this is to avoid getting caught like, hey, I need my Valkyrie for this. I don't have my Valkyrie for this because I use my Valkyrie for this. This game blows. You can assign cards roles and just avoid playing certain cards on anything other than this. Let's say I have one job, and that's to save my I don't know, rocket for his X-bow. Let's not rocket anything else other than the X-bow. Let's do everything we can to defend with anything else on everything else other than this rocket. That's a pretty poor example, but that's just the first thing that came to mind. If you assign your Valkyrie to something and you don't use your Valkyrie on anything other than that, you'll never have to worry about that. And obviously that doesn't apply to every single game, but in certain matchups, I'm not saying to apply this every game, but in certain matchups, if you need this card to do this thing to avoid losing because you don't have that card, just make sure you don't play it on anything other than that card. And again, this may seem like a simple tip to a lot of like more advanced players, but this video is more designed to casuals trying to get up in the trophy road for the first time, and that can help a lot of the time. It doesn't really apply to win conditions, but saving certain spells for things, that's a much better example. Saving arrows for the minion horde, not arrowing the princess and the dark goblin, even if they're right next to each other, and it would be good value because you don't have another counter to the minion horde. That is exactly what I'm talking about, and I've totally actually lost to that before. Tip number 7 is to stick to one deck / find a strong meta deck. Now, obviously, if you're free to play, it's going to be a nightmare. You can't just, go look up this YouTuber's deck and play it and then switch to another one. And you got to pick one that you really like and that you've guaranteed is at least has been strong in the past for a few seasons so that you know it won't die as soon as you level it up. Now, balance changes to the deck don't necessarily kill every deck, and that it's rare that you just kill a deck unless it's already really boosted. So I would just find a strong meta deck that you enjoy playing, but at the end of the day, it is a game. The objective is to have fun. So if you want to play your own deck, even if you're going to get manhandled, go ahead and do it. But I would recommend finding a strong meta deck and focusing on just upgrading that. Don't focus on upgrading anything else because you're not going to be able to. Tip number 8, find yourself a girl who plays Clash Royale and use code Invader.